Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our September CGBN webinar. I hope you're all doing fantastic today. Before we begin, many of the persons listening and are watching this webinar may be direct competitors in the real estate brokerage business. Therefore, to avoid any liability under the federal or state antitrust laws, any discussion of competitive business practices and/or the amount of fees and or commissions charged or to be charged by the real estate brokerage companies to their customers or clients and/or compensation and/or splits paid or to be paid by brokerage companies to other brokerage companies is strictly prohibited. It is NICAR's policy that it will not entertain any discussion that creates a potential of a violation of federal or state antitrust laws at any meeting, podcast, or conference sanctioned or sponsored by NICAR. Please note that this session is being recorded. To ensure a smooth experience, we kindly ask anyone who is not presenting or part of the panel to mute themselves or turn off their video recording. Our sessions today will run for an hour and a half. We'll start the presentation, followed by the Q&A segment for the presenters. Once the Q&A concludes, we will end the recording and transition into our needs and wants segment done by Teresa Mueller. If you have listings or trade missions to share, please let us know. We'd be happy to feature them on the CGBN page. After today's session, the recording will be available on the CGBN YouTube channel and the CGBN page. In the meantime, please take a moment to share your information in the chat, including your name, email, phone number, and any needs or wants you'd like us to address. For those of you who may not know me, my name is Dimitri Lockman. I'm the current chair of CGBN, as well as the president-elect for NICAR. Marcia Collins is the vice chair and will be taking over in November, which I am super excited to hand this over to her. I'd like to take this opportunity to express my sincere gratitude to our past CGBN chairs, Ahmed Badat, Teresa Mueller, and Bill Caden, for their invaluable contributions and continued support. Thank you all for joining us today. Today's webinar is called NAR Global Coordinator Region Overview. We have Vicky Silvano, Ali, Amar, and David McCoy being the presenters. I'll give a quick little overview of each presenter, and then I'll give it over to Ahmed for a couple of
Can you just hold a second, please?
Yes,
Dimitra?
Go ahead. Yeah.
Rigo, can you just send Ali a new one right away? Because he says he still cannot get in.
Yes.
Oh, he's in. He's actually in right now.
Oh, he's in? Okay.
At least I'm assuming he's...
Hello, guys.
Hey, Ali.
How are you? Sorry.
Good.
Little confusion.
All right, no problem.
Oh, okay.
Apologies on our end.
How much are these? $10 from this or $10?
Perfect. Vicky is a co-team lead with Real Brokerage and a passionate community advocate. She has been servicing organizations and our private clients from diverse backgrounds and cultures with a focus on providing extraordinary service. Vicky has been a manager, instructor, mentor, partner, and investor in brokerage and investment partnerships. Her service expands to both domestic and international clientele. She's been a speaker at various real estate events and conferences domestically and internationally. Vicky is currently NAR's global coordinator for Asia Pacific region, covering 16 countries in Asia, and member of NAR's executive committee based on her global expertise, and previously the global ambassador to the Philippines, Malaysia, and Singapore, before being appointed to the global coordinator. She's currently the treasurer of the Chicago Association of Realtors. She graduated from the University of the Philippines with a degree in economics. She has earned several real estate designations to sharpen her skills and be on top of her game. Ali is the global coordinator of the Middle East and Africa, broker associate realtor, 2024 Realtor of the Year, NAR 2024 Global Alliance Advisory Board Vice Chair, NAR 2025 Global Alliance Advisory Board Chair, NAR Director 2021, 2022, and 2024. David McCoy. David McCoy is a global coordinator for North and Central Americas and the Caribbean. David has been a licensed realtor specializing in commercial real estate in Kentucky and in Indiana since 2001. David focuses on consulting and marketing for commercial and international buyers, sellers, landlords, tenants, and investors. He has been inactive with NAR Global since 2013, when he was first appointed as NAR President's liaison to Jamaica. He has been subsequently appointed as the global ambassador to Bahamas, Bermuda, and Dominican Republic, and Jamaica. Ahmed, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you. So the three professionals we have here covering the global topics and the regions today, these are the best in the industry. When NAR chooses a global coordinator, they choose people who know the region, who have a passion for what they do, number one, but also they engage their members and their global ambassadors to know the region and to be able to bring that back to our members. So all three of them come with great credentials. So we are very fortunate to have them today. And thank you to all of you for being here. So I want to introduce two of the folks that I've worked with and the best NAR has in the global division. And the first is Alex, Director of Global Strategy Engagement. And the second is Holly Backer, Manager of Global Alliances and Business Development. So I'm going to let Alex say a few words, and then he can pass it on to Holly. And Alex was just going to give us a little bit of what's going on and what he does and where we are in the global picture. Thank you, Alex.
Thank you, Ahmed. Thank you, as always. Thanks to NAR and its Commercial Global Business Network. I'm gonna be super brief. The important folks are speaking a little later, but just wanted to congratulate you guys on keep raising the bar for local boards that engage in global. Dimitrov, I've told you before, I see you guys all over the place. You guys are doing a great job. You have in Teresa, yourself, Ahmed, and several others incredible ambassadors. It's hard to go places and not see one of you guys promoting and spreading the word about the great work that you are doing. And I will say something that really helps you guys stand out. There's very few local boards that are able to bridge the commercial and the residential worlds the way you guys do. That is such an incredible feature. And on behalf of the entire NAR Global team, we are extremely proud of you. We're all about creating opportunities for our members to network, to learn, and these activities that you guys put together, which add so much value, are a perfect example. Not a lot more to add here. I love to see so many familiar faces. Hi to Antonio from Portugal, not only folks from the US, but also some international Realtor members joining. And Ahmed, don't forget about Karen Williams. Holly, Karen Williams, and myself, we're all here. It's a full house at NAR Global. We're all here, excited to hear and learn a lot more from these beloved global ambassadors that we have today. So, Holly, I'll let you take it from here. Yeah. Thank you all.
Thanks, Alex.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ahmed, Dimitra, and Teresa. It's great to be here today. As the Manager of Global Alliances and Business Development with NAR, I'm responsible for fostering and maintaining relationships with our partners and stakeholders. Specifically, I handle Middle East and Africa in addition to Eastern Europe regions. My work involves identifying new opportunities for collaboration, promoting best practices, and supporting local initiatives to enhance the real estate industry around the world. We currently, in the Middle East and Africa, have partnerships with Lebanon, Turkey, UAE, and in Africa, Ghana, Nigeria, South Africa, and Uganda. And we're currently working with new partners to have some new partners join us hopefully next year. Thank you, everybody, for inviting us. And Karen, I am giving it to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Very briefly, if you have not met me yet, my name's Karen Williams. I've been at NAR, about a year and a half now, so I may be a new face to some of you. I'm the Manager of Governance and Global Volunteer Services here, and for the purpose of this chat, that mainly means that one of my main responsibilities is overseeing, supporting the Global Ambassador Program as a whole. So I'm very fortunate to get to work with all these amazing global coordinators and the ambassadors. So any questions about the program in general, feel free to reach out to me. I'll drop my email in the chat.
Great, thank you for that. Mm-hmm. Should we then transition to Vicky?
Right.
All right, Vicky, it's all you.
Okay, thank you so much for the invite to be here with you all. I'm honored to represent the Asia Pacific region. Thank you to NAR, Dimitro, Ahmed, and Theresa for bringing me in here and talk about the commercial real estate in the Asia Pacific region. Also, thank you to some of my global ambassadors being here today. Hiroko for Japan and Mongolia, and Yoshi for Vietnam, Indonesia, and Cambodia. So I hope I did that. Two more of my global ambassadors are coming in, but somehow the link is not working. So I'm gonna just let Regal do that. Eris Dicunha for one of our global ambassadors for India, Thailand, and Myanmar, which is our newest bilateral partner in the Asia Pacific region. So let's move forward. Can you go to the next page, please? Or do I do this on my own? There you go. Okay, so for the Asia Pacific region economy, it's a mixed outlook right now across the region. And as you can see from the chart, India is set to lead the robust growth, while Greater China faces slower momentum amid trade headwinds and market adjustments. Japan and Southeast Asia are expected to post moderate gains. Southeast Asia would include Vietnam, Malaysia, Philippines, Singapore, and the other countries in Southeast Asia. So if you see Southeast Asia as one segment, those are the other countries that are part of the Southeast Asia group. Interest rate cuts across the region are boosting investment confidence and supporting stronger cross-border capital flows. In the Asia Pacific region, there are more deals happening between each other. So like Japan, China, Korea invest in the Philippines, and other cross-border deals and capital flows happening as well. Next page, please. There you go. Capital markets, again, is gaining momentum, supported by stronger investment intentions across the region. And there is a huge appetite for office assets, increasing allocations also towards alternative real estate. We've seen that in the U.S., like data centers and life sciences. In Chicago, they're putting together a huge data center, which is the quantum computing. So I'm sure this is also within the other regions who's going to be speaking later today. But data centers and life sciences are really, really getting huge interest from a lot of our countries. And among the top destinations right now are in Japan and India, and they are really the magnets for inbound capital. Next. Office leasing demand across Asia remains resilient, led by activities in India, Singapore, and Tokyo. As you can see, India is pretty strong, and you'll see a lot of talk about India getting a lot of attention from the different segments of commercial real estate. New supply is set to peak in 2025, and the rents are forecasted to remain a steady growth. Again, the corporate occupiers or tenants are focused primarily on Class A offices that offer flexibility and modern layouts to support evolving workplace needs. As you know, there's the back to work thing is coming back, and we've seen hybrid situations that people are coming back. But for offices to attract those employees to come back, they have to really redo and add amenities to their workplaces. So again, it's increasingly focused on those offices that offer modern layouts and amenities. Next. Our industrial and logistics. Again, China and India, you'll hear them a lot. In 2025, particularly in China and Southeast Asia, vacancy rates are going up. However, Tier 1 hubs remain stable as occupiers stay cost conscious and prioritize operational efficiency. So supply outpacing demand, rental growth is projected to remain modest across markets. Tariffs. Tariffs will be a huge factor, not just for Asia Pacific, but I think across the world. I'm sure we'll hear later on with David and Ali how tariffs are affecting their countries. So tariffs are expected to slow GDP growth in export-reliant markets like Vietnam, Malaysia, and South Korea, where the commercial real estate leasing and investments are weighing in. Office demand may soften with slower employment growth, while retail leasing could be hit weaker because of weaker consumer spending. So when people don't buy, there's slower there's slower activity in the economy. Logistics, again, they face reduced trade flows and shifting distribution routes, with markets like Nagoya in Japan is particularly exposed. Again, as I've said earlier, the intra-Asia trade remains resilient and supported by rising e-commerce and a growing middle class. You'll see that a lot of the Asian countries do trades in between the region, rather than going out of the country as we speak. Retail, go to the next. Okay. Consumer sentiment across Asia is on the upswing, driving stronger retail demand in India and Southeast Asia. Again, international retailers are becoming selective, concentrating on Class A stores and prime urban locations. Although in some cases, a lot of the developments are going out of the major or urban locations, and you can see that in different countries of Asia. Retail rents are forecasted to see modest growth, and the stronger momentum expected in high-density centers. So you can see all these countries that are doing well in leasing. Next. Hotel market is really recovering, especially in places like Thailand. Thailand has the biggest tourism industry in Thailand. Obviously, Japan is also a major resort destination. While mainland China, outbound travel from mainland China has yet to fully return. And we'll see what happens there. China is China, right? There's been a lot of differences within China that, because of geopolitical situation there, as well as other countries. And occupancy has been trending upward because of the tourism going upwards as well. So, key highlights. Next slide, please. There you go. So overall growth, investment in commercial real estate in Asia Pacific has risen 20% year over year, and in Q1 first quarter of 2025, it went up to $36.3 billion, marking the strongest first quarter since post-2022 rate hike era. And the cross-border investment, as I've said earlier, has jumped 152%, and overseas investors are especially interested in office, logistics, and living or residential and rental assets. Next slide, please. There you go. And here are the drivers for the Asia Pacific commercial real estate investment. Interest rate cuts. This is the, here in the U.S., we just saw the quarter rate cut. And hopefully that will translate to a better positioning of, especially in the financing aspect. High investor appetite for yield have underpinned the recovery. And the challenges, as maybe some of my colleagues will say, there's high financing costs, sensitivity to tariffs that's pretty huge, and subdued sentiment in certain markets, and industrial logistics being impacted by global trade dynamics. Again, the tariffs will be a huge factor in this global trade as we'll see moving forward. That's it for me, and I just wanted to give an overall overview of the highlights of each segment of the commercial real estate in the Asia Pacific countries. Thank you.
Dimitra, are you leaving questions for after all the presentations?
Yeah, we'll do questions
Okay.
after all the presentations so
All right.
that we can ask everybody. Yeah. So in this case, we will go and Ali, are you available to go next?
Sure.
Amazing.
Yeah, thank you. First, thank you for the invite. It's great to be here. It's an honor to be here. Thank you for considering me one of your panelists. If I want to go through the statistics, I have 7 pages written. I don't think we have enough time to do this because the real estate, you asked me specifically, the United Arab Emirates is booming. They actually started the 2030 plan 5 years ago, but they already achieved everything in 2030. Now they're working on 2040 plan, which is the government announced 5 new in the 2040 master plan, 5 new green zones, specifically for hotels and vacation areas and office space. The lack of office space, the vacancy rate is about 8% in Dubai and 2% in Abu Dhabi. So they need more offices, they need more hotels, and just 2 numbers that I'm going to go over what I want to actually talk about. First, the first number is the market size. Commercial market size reached $51 billion in UAE and projected to be about $70 billion by 2030. And as you may know, government of Abu Dhabi, which is the capital of UAE, just signed 3 months ago a contract with Disney. So 8 Disney theme park is going to be started, actually built up. I visited the site 3 weeks ago when I was there. And they started a building up, visit the site, and the 8 Disney, which according to Disney, this will be the Disney of the Disneys. It will be better than all of them as far as the theme park goes itself. But going back to what is important, I think it is important for a real estate practitioner to know some facts about UAE, how to do business in UAE, where to go and find the right people to do, because the licensing in UAE wasn't there until a couple of years ago. There are 2 major cities, Abu Dhabi and Dubai. Dubai, even though is not a capital, but is the largest as far as a business goes. They made a mandatory licensing as of 2 years ago, but it's still as of last 3 weeks ago when I was there, over 50% of the practitioners are not licensed. So as an agent working from U.S., looking to help their buyers, their sellers, their clients to purchase properties, you have to go to NAR. NAR, the realtor/global. We have over 200 international members in UAE, NAR international members. Those are the people that you want to go and work with. First of all, they're all licensed. Secondly, designees. I just finished teaching, and the SR professionals in UAE that you want to work with. And the most important changes that was done in the last 6 months, the beginning of this year, is a golden visa. You got to remember, majority of purchase property, which actually it was almost $100 billion in first 6 months of 2025, is a huge number. Majority of these are off-plan, as we call it here, pre-construction. These properties take between 2 or 3 years to be built. And the golden visa purchasers, they want to move in today. They want a golden visa today. So there was a lot of red tape in order to get your golden visa, which they streamlined it. Right now, the golden visa is $2 million. But when you buy a pre-construction property, or they call it off-land property, you won't pay the $2 million in advance. There's always the payment plan. What happened is that they bring the threshold to $500,000 dirham, which is about 175,000 US dollar. All you need in order to prove that, you need a letter from a developer that you made that payment, and you bring that to the government, and they issue your golden visa. Even your property will be built, will be finished 2 or 3 years from now, then you will do closing. So that was the best thing they've done for the golden visa seekers, that they can move in by paying for making either one payment or the payment plan of a quarter of a payment that they need to do. That's very important. The other thing, real estate licensing. As of July 17th, this year, every real estate agent in Abu Dhabi, which is the capital, has to be licensed. Otherwise, it starts from $5,000 US dollar fine if you're working without a license, Abu Dhabi. And they started the registration of their upcoming MLS. This will be a third official standard MLS outside of United States and Canada, which is called Madmoon MLS. As of July 17, every listing has to be registered in Madmoon. Even the MLS is not functioning and starting until end of the year, but every property will be marketed anywhere, the website, or they have the portals, like we have Zillow here. They have two large portals they call Bayut. One of them is a Bayut, the other one is a property finder. Even if you list property on those, it has to be registered by Madmoon, which is a government. Guess what happened? From July 17th to end of July, in less than 2 weeks, 55,000 fake and duplicate listings disappeared from the market. Very, very important. So for real estate practitioners, it's very important to know how to go about finding right partner in UAE. The second thing that you need to know, beside the licensing and marketing your property, is how to find these agents. There is a website we have here in Abu Dhabi. It's called Address, ADRES, which is the Abu Dhabi government. You go to Address, you see the licensed agent in there. The other thing they changed, the pre-licensing course was 15 hours until last month. I work as advisor of government of Abu Dhabi to help them with the licensing and the MLS. And we just have a new system, which will be 50 hours. As of end of this year, will be 50 hours pre-licensing, mandatory pre-licensing for every licensed agent. And their MLS, as I told you, is in the work. Actually, it will be announced 2 days from now in Toronto on 25th of September.
Hello.
Will be officially announced at Toronto.
Hello.
MLS will be start working and functioning. And the government initiative, Ahmed, we can hear you. I think, am I the only one hearing Ahmed, or everybody else is hearing him?
Rigo, can you mute? Oh, thank you.
Yeah. All right. I don't know how much more time I have, but these are the important things that you need to know about how to do business in UAE. And I'll be very happy to answer any question at the end of the meeting.
Thank you, Ali. Appreciate that.
Problem.
Thank you. And then we'll move to David, and then we'll have questions followed by afterwards. David?
Hey, everybody. I'm David McCoy. I am the Global Coordinator for North America, Central America, and the Caribbean for NAR. And I had the pleasure of seeing a number of you all last week. So I was trying to decide, I didn't really want to repeat a lot of the stuff that we talked last week. So if I may share my screen, let's see here. So I was trying to give some thought as to things that we might talk about. And I think, first of all, we'll talk a little bit about my region, just to kind of give you an overview of my region. We have 14 countries. It is approximately 200 million people. Pretty much speak two languages, not entirely, but mainly English and Spanish. I think I have to give also throw French in there because of Canada, although the way we interact with Canada is a little bit different. And we have the largest number of international realtor members of any region. We have approximately 5,000 or so from our region. A little bit about NAR Global, which I think some of you all may know this, but I do think it helps us quite a bit in terms of understanding everything. We have 6 regions. We have, I think it's 85 countries now, and I believe we're at 110 bilateral partners around the world. And so Vicky and Elise have the same position as me. I am sitting here looking. It looks like my screen is frozen. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, we can.
good. Awesome. So I just want to make sure we're doing that. So those are the things. And so I think that we'll talk a little bit about the purposes of NAR Global. We're trying to promote global business opportunities for realtors, promote professionalism and ethics in real estate globally, and provide education, networking, and ethics. So that kind of gives you a big framework of what we do. And generally what I like to do is we're going to look at some global trends, and then we'll look at some local trends about that. There are a number of things, I think, globally that affect everything that's going on. And so we can't really ignore the elephants in the room. China is the second largest economy in the world, and so China has huge impact not only in Asia but everywhere else. And so things that are going on in the world, we have, of course, the war in the Ukraine is continuing. And I don't know if that's going to wind down or not. I hope it does. But while we are having that go on, the war in Ukraine affects the whole world in that it affects the global energy market because of Russian energy taken off market. It creates global food issues because Russia and Ukraine are the 2 largest wheat producers in the world. We have refugees that are going all over in the world seeking places where they're safe. I don't know if this conflict is going to be wrapping up. I hope it does, but so far this year, it hasn't really seemed to be going that. And of course, in the last few weeks, this had already been happening. The European countries had been rearming and trying to devote more of their budgets to defense. And of course, we've had the issues in Poland in the last couple of weeks that is actually accelerating that. One of the big issues I think that we have, and it's starting to get some attention worldwide, I think, is global population collapse. For decades, we were concerned about the population explosion and how we were going to deal with that, but it appears that we are actually facing another crisis in terms of the population collapse. Much of Europe already is having issues with this. Germany and Italy already do not have enough young people in their population to be able to sustain their population. Canada has been the same way. Canada offset that somewhat by trying to increase immigration. Russia is the same way. China is this in a big way. China is, for the last 2 years officially reported that their population had decreased, but it appears that their population has been decreasing for a decade, maybe 2 decades. And there are, I know that Russia and Japan estimate that China's population, instead of being 1.4 billion, is probably between 800 and 900 million, meaning that it may have been overstated by nearly 50%. And China's population is one of the oldest in the world. They will not be able to repopulate their population. So that is going to have huge effects kind of all over. So the population collapse is a problem for a number of reasons. One, it's just having enough people, but the people affect your economy, having enough workers to be able to produce, having enough revenue in your government to be able to support the government, and also support the number of people who are retiring. So we have a lot of people around the world moving to retirement. So this is creating, in my opinion, a lot of global migration. And so the things that are kind of affecting global migration is the refugees from the war, COVID restrictions, governmental policies. There are a lot of people that are looking around. They are concerned about things in their governments or other governments, and this is affecting where people decide to invest. You know, the lockdowns, protests, financial policies are all things that people have had concerned about. Food, energy, and supply shortages. Energy is becoming a bigger and bigger deal. I am seeing people from Europe that are talking about moving things to the US because they no longer feel like the energy grid in Europe is reliable enough for their businesses. And so we are seeing investment in the US, not just because of tariffs and not just because of things like that, but because people are trying to find reliable energy. And so I'm also going to just go out on a limb here and say that the amount of energy that we are needing is increasing exponentially. A lot of this is driven by the technology, especially AI. The AI is requiring an increase in the factors like 17 times the amount of energy that we previously needed. And so there's a lot of people are beginning to rethink the green energy. They're not necessarily abandoning green energy, but they are saying we need energy so badly, it doesn't matter where it comes from, we just need it. So let's go through that. So these are the things I think these are the things that affect people moving in and out of different countries, and in turn affects real estate, the demand for real estate, the demand for business, the demand for the economies. And so some of the stuff that we'll talk about here, I guess one more little thing we'll talk about. I updated this last night just as to give us a frame when we are thinking about international real estate and investment. We had an increase last year for the first time in about 3 years in the investment in the U.S. from abroad in residential real estate. So last year it was 56 billion. The biggest investors: China, Canada, Mexico, India, and the UK. China, Canada, and Mexico have been in the top 3 for, I don't know, a long time. They are consistently our biggest investors. Canada and Mexico, it is no surprise that that is the case because they're also our neighbors, and they also are a couple of the largest economies in this area. Top investment states are in Florida, California, Texas, Arizona, and New York. Florida, California, and Texas also are unsurprising. Those tend to be in the top 3 every year. The 4th and 5th moves around a little bit. Arizona is there often, as is New York, but those will kind of trade places. Top countries of interest to the U.S. in terms of investing outside the U.S. Mexico is our number one largest country that U.S. citizens invest in. A lot of that is retirement, but not only retirement. And so those are big deals for us. Grenada showed up this year as a top destination of interest. Costa Rica, Dominican Republic are frequently in there. So Mexico, Costa Rica, and Dominican Republic are almost always in the top 10 in terms of where people from the U.S. would like to invest. So a little bit about my region. Some of the things that are affecting things in my region, sort of the giants in our region, Mexico and Canada, of course, are the two largest markets overall. The biggest thing, the one single thing you need to know about Canada, Canada has continued, they renewed their prohibition of foreigners investing in residential real estate. They also have tremendous restrictions on commercial real estate, although it's not quite as severe, but you do need to know that in terms of investing in Canada, there are some exceptions, but it is very much restricted. That doesn't mean that Canadians aren't investing in us, although Canada, there are a lot of people who've been concerned about things in the U.S., and some people are jumping the U.S., and they are investing in Mexico and Central America. Mexico is the other big one. Mexico has a few things. We mentioned that it's the largest country we invest in. Also, the U.S., Mexico invests largely in the U.S., especially in Texas and Arizona, but other places as well. Mexico has tremendously modernized their economy over the last decade. They are no longer, in my opinion, a third world nation. They are very much an industrialized nation. They are really trying hard. They've improved all of their infrastructure, including their data infrastructure. One thing they are trying to do right now, and they are in the midst of trying to build a canal that will cross Mexico, another canal to connect the Pacific and in this case, the Gulf, to try to have more going through that. They also, this is being done in cooperation, honestly, with Panama, to try to overcome some of the logistics problems with bottlenecks in terms of getting through the canal. Jamaica, Dominican Republic, and Panama are all doing very, very well. They have some of the, Panama, I think, has close to a 16 or 19% increase in business in the last year. I mean, it's crazy. DR has been doing very well. Jamaica is doing very well. Jamaica and DR are very much tourist economies. I think DR last year had 11 million visitors, and Jamaica had more than 6 million visitors. The digital nomads, that's going on throughout the world, but especially some of these tourism economies, they're getting a lot of people that are saying, hey, if I'm going to be working, I might as well be working someplace I really love. Green development is still very important to Central America. One of the big things, we talked a little bit about this with the other things, is nearshoring. During the pandemic, and I wouldn't say that the pandemic caused this, but it did accelerate it. And when we were in the pandemic and we realized that we were having tremendous difficulty getting products into the U.S., and especially things that were of national security interest, and things like not just things like drugs is a good example. China, we realized that China produced 95% of the medicines for the U.S. And China, I don't know that they meant this as a threat, but they did remark that we could shut this down tomorrow and the U.S. would be in a bad way. And it just really made people think that. So we have been in the process for a while now of redoing our lines of production and bringing them closer to home. The entire Central America region and the Caribbean have been benefiting from this. And so we're having more stuff brought home in the U.S., but also in places like Central America, the Caribbean, and the northern part of South America. Bitcoin continues to be a big thing. There are people that are concerned about governments and the financial stability of those economies. And not only that, but of the government control over money and money supply. And whether you agree with that or not, I don't know if I really 100% agree with that, but it is leading to people that are looking for investment where they can do investment by Bitcoin. In El Salvador, they started accepting Bitcoin as an official currency about 4 or 5 years ago. And there are people that are moving to El Salvador so that they can live in a place where they can use Bitcoin and invest in Bitcoin and not have to worry about the money supply being manipulated. Dollarization and BRICS. A lot of economies, they were telling us that Panama has always kind of worked on the dollar, but a number of economies in Central America, in South America, they have decided to re-dollarize their economies and have been pegging their currencies to the dollar. There have been some problems with this in the past, but a lot of countries feel like they want to more or less bet on the U.S. economy and peg their currencies to it, and they feel like that is a good move for them. So that is another thing. So those are the main things. I think I may have run a couple of minutes over. I was trying to move very quickly, but let me pause there. Thank you for letting me speak, and I will return the screen to you all, and we will go from there.
Thank you, David. We'll open questions to Teresa. Go ahead.
Thank you, everyone, for all those great presentations. Lots of great content, and I'm glad that we have it recorded so people can go back, because I know you covered a lot of information in a short period of time. One of my questions, because I get this all the time, and I want to hear how the panelists respond, because you're all covering different regions. People say all the time, where should I invest? And so I want to know how you respond. Thank you.
Well, let me look in my crystal ball and get back to you. Go ahead, Dave.
I'm going to give you a different kind of. My answer is it depends, kind of on what you're trying to do, and that would be there are a lot of people, smaller investors, and I mean they are doing this. They are investing in other countries, Costa Rica, Panama. There are a lot of people that are doing, and they are buying. Maybe they're buying retirement homes, or maybe they're buying rental properties. And so I would say that if you're doing something like that, some of these areas are really great for that. If you're trying to, but one of the things that sometimes comes up is people don't really. There are additional risks when you are investing in other countries. You not only have the investment risk, but you also have things like currency risk and exchange risk and, a number of things like that. And so some of the people I've talked to, the way that they deal with that is they maybe don't ever plan to bring the currency back into their own country. It's like I will use it when I am there. So that way it kind of takes away that exchange risk of the currency. They're getting paid in that. But it also has to do with property rights. You do want to make sure that you're going someplace where the property rights are well protected. You want to think about places where there's a good return. If you're doing like commercial, that's a different animal. And I would say that in all of these instances, you want to be working with professionals in those countries who know what they're doing and understand the business climate and the economy. But you do need to do some research. I think you can maybe narrow it down to a handful of countries where you feel good about it. But then I think do some research, talk to people in there, work with those people, and then depending upon how you want to invest, I think that will probably answer most of your questions.
I'm going to tell you about my region, specifically Emirates. Very, very tricky when you go to invest. First of all, you have to decide, is it short term or is it long term? once you make that decision, if it's a short term, you must buy pre-construction. Never buy ready products in UAE. Pre-construction usually at least the past 10 years, you buy it off plan. You usually make between 25 to 35% when the property is ready. Now, if you decide to sell it, you make that money, you walk away. If you decide to rent it, you rent it. Right now, rental, you make net of between 8 to 12% on rental property, depends on the location and what kind of property. I'm not talking about Airbnb or short. I'm talking about, yearly lease, either commercial or residential. In Airbnb, you can make much more money, but you have to have the manager that works for you over there. It's very important. But if you buy a ready product and rent it for 5 years, you make a good money on rental, but there's almost 0 to maybe 2% capital gain in 5 years. The holding products, you don't make money on added value usually unless you bought it off plan. If you buy ready, rental is good, but resale is not good. So there are two different way of investing in in Emirates. And I just came back from Turkey. Turkey is I was attending a conference. I had a meeting with the government officials of Turkey, and they actually started their own mandate for marketing properties. Right now, as of August, every property that is offered is marketed in Turkey has to be registered by licensed real estate agent. Even though they don't have an MLS system yet, but it has to be licensed. You cannot go with 10 different people. It has to be, signed contract by a licensed real estate agent. And the business is booming. You buy anything today, Turkey, you make good 15, 20% in a couple of years. So Turkey is booming. Actually, is the largest number of the sale in entire Europe right now. So.
Thank you, my colleagues. In Asia Pacific, there's quite a few countries that you can invest, and everything is also dependent. It depends is the right answer from David McCoy. And again, India, Thailand, Japan, Philippines are great locations for investment. Obviously, each country has their own, rules and regulations to follow. Airbnb is huge in the Philippines. That's where the money is. I know Portugal is hot market too, but in Asia Pacific, those are the countries that I would really highlight. Just FYI for everybody, since I'm here, I'm going to announce that we have an international real estate conference in India next year. So we will give you the save the date on that one. And I think when you go to the country that you want to invest in, that's the way to go. It's really the face-to-face connection that you wanted to do and really look at the market. Having a professional like, David, Ali, and I to work with and to connect you with the right professionals, that'll probably the icing on the cake. So that's for me.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Bill, and then Ahmed afterwards. Bill?
While we're waiting on Bill, I'm going to mention, Antonio mentioned that Portugal is a hot market, which of course he would say, but I will say, just to mention, if you have not looked at NAR's annual investment in residential real estate from foreign investment, you should look at that. It is available on NAR's website. You can find it in the research and statistics. But to Antonio's point, Portugal is the #1 country that Americans are investing in Europe. So so shout out to Antonio. And I think Bill's ready now.
Yes, thank you. I couldn't get my button to release me. So we talked about the importance of power in regions in order for growth to occur. And another resource that's starting to become really important to the growth of not only residential but commercial properties is good, clean sources of water. How is water impacting the growth in each of your areas, and what is the water quality and amounts available?
I can tell you, when I go to the Philippines, I drink bottled water. So the water quality in Asia Pacific is probably something to look into, because it's not there's not a whole lot of good sources of water, and the filtration system is not really is not as high tech as here in the U.S. So I'm sure it's going to affect something down the line, but there has been it's not been looked into in the Asia Pacific region. So I don't know what other regions are doing on the water, but the water filtration is something to be something to look into.
So, well, I'm going to divide that question a little bit. There's a couple of ways that water is necessary. One is terms of supporting the population, having drinking water. And so I'm going to do a very short, quick plug for my friends at WaterStep, who I've talked about here before, who are their single goal is to try to have pure, clean water for everybody on the planet. And I was not a believer, but after getting to know these guys, I think they're going to do it. So I'm going to do a plug for them. If you want a connection to them, I would love to try to connect you to those kinds of guys. They are really amazing. So that is one of the things, is the populations. And that's kind of, when I was talking about the factors affecting kind of global growth, the way I kind of throw all those in one category is safety. Water is one of the big things in terms of safety, is we have to have safe water. But we also have water for industrial needs and for those kinds of things. And so that's a little bit of a different process. And it's going to depend upon the particular industry and what they're doing. I do know, for example, as they've been building these data centers, the data centers is becoming a really big deal. And it's going to be like a flash in the pan. It's in the next... there's like this mad rush right now to try to build these things, and probably within a few years, this rush will be over. Initially, they needed huge amounts of water to be able to cool these things. And that was one of the things they were saying originally, is that they had to be located next to large sources of water for cooling purposes. However, I am told that that technology is evolving very rapidly, and the newer centers are not going to really need water that much. Water is no longer one of the critical factors in terms of finding a location. Energy is the main thing. But I will say that in terms of water availability, of course, when you're looking in the Caribbean, anytime you're on any one of those island nations, water is an issue. Most of them are smaller. They don't really have a whole lot of fresh water. And so that is always an issue there. Mexico, I love Mexico. I go to Mexico whenever I can, but I will also tell you that the water is a problem. Don't drink the water there. Don't do it. It is an issue. But and it depends upon where you are. In some places, like in Panama, if you're in Panama City, you're probably fine. If you're outside of Panama City, you're probably not. So I will say that it is an issue, and it will be an issue. And again, I'm going to put a plug in for my friends at WaterStep. If people want to know about that, if you know people that are trying to deal with that problem and want a connection, I would love to connect you on that.
Okay, I think it's my turn. Water is an issue, actually. My regions are very large region, Africa, as you know. Water is always a problem. Even water is available in most of the places, but the drinking water is an issue. So when I travel to Africa, I drink a bottle of water, even brush my teeth with a bottle of water. So, and I recommend that to everyone to do. In Turkey, you wouldn't have problem. You can drink tap water, and the water is available. And in UAE, even though the water treatments are as advanced as they come, they probably have the best of the best in the world, but it's still the water quality is not drinking water quality is not where it's supposed to be. I still drink bottled water when I'm in UAE as well. And I think that would answer your question.
Very good. Thank you.